Shalom Aleichem everyone, and we're continuing Hachzig's learning of the Pele Yoetz, day number 197, as we enter into Shabbos Kodesh. And the new chapter, a one-day chapter, is called Dovid Sifsei Yeshenim. The lips of those that are deceased will be moving, they will continue to talk. Dovid Sifsei Yeshenim. The lips of the ones that are sleeping, those that are deceased, will continue to move. What does that mean? Rabbi Chazal teach us shekol Talmid Chacham she'oimim dvar Torah mishmoim ba'olam hazeh. Any Talmid Chacham whose divrei Torah are mentioned in this world, sifsaisav doivevois b'kever, even though he's no longer in this world, his lips will be moving in the kever, in the grave. So a person who left Torah over in this world, and even though that he is deceased, somebody says over his Torah, so the lips of that Chacham are moving, which means that you're giving life to the neshama, you're giving life to his Torah. And it's like, says the Pele Yoetz, you're giving him hana, pleasure, and nachas ruach, and you're giving him also this nachas ruach, which is this spiritual pleasure. Like a person who drinks konditon, which is a wine that is made with honey and pepper, which apparently is very geschmack. So you're giving him a geschmack. Like it says in the Gemara in Yushalmi. And further, anyone that goes Baruch is blessed with das, with understanding. You should write a sefer. According to what you're able to help others to be able to learn your Torah. And in this way you do chesed to alafim, to thousands. And you yourself are going to be a beneficiary as well, because your lips will move in the grave. For any time that in any generation that someone ends up learning your words. Imagine, for example, someone like the Ramchal wrote the Mesilas Yesharim. How many millions of Yidden over the years have learned the Sefer Mesilas Yesharim? Think about Rashi in the Chumash, Rashi in the Gemara. How many millions and billions of times have the words of Rashi been said over in Klal Yisrael? So those words certainly are giving chiyus, they're giving a life to Rashi in the kever, and that means anytime, anyone in the world that learns those words, that's what's giving a nachas ruach, a pleasure, spiritual delight to the neshama of Rashi, even though that he's no longer physically in this world. V'zeh chesed shel emes, and this truth is a chesed shel emes, is a chesed of truth. Sheyuchal adam la'asais im tzadikim, that you could do with tzadikim. L'kedoshim asher ba'aretz chelkam, to the holy people that are in the land of the living, I guess we'll call it, up there in Shemayim. Chelkam b'chaim lilmod divreim, learn their words. Uzechusam te'lemagin v'tzin aleim, and then the merits of the author of that particular sefer that you are learning, it will be a magin, it will be a shield, and it will be a guardian to you. Which means, and he's going to explain in just a moment, but if you learn the words of those people that are no longer here in this world, it's going to end up benefiting you as well. And listen to the story of Kvar Kasa B'Svarim. It's written in the Svarim HaKadoshim, the more mystical works. Shepamachas HaYishmad. There was once a shmad, there was a pogrom going on in a particular town. V'niglo Morein Harav Rabbi Moshe Alshich Zichron Livracha. And the Alshich, who was deceased for quite some time at that moment where there was a pogrom in the town, what happened? Bahakitz, he got up from the dead, basically, came back to life. Since there was a person that was living in that time of the pogrom who was learning the works of the Alshich HaKadosh on a constant basis, so when he needed salvation, when he needed to be rescued from all the chaos that was going on over there, the Alshich himself came back to life momentarily and rescued him from everything that was going on. So says the Pele Yoetz, what do you see? that when you learn the works of the tzaddikim of previous generations, so not only are you giving life to their lips, you're not only giving them nachas ruach, but they're going to come to you, to aid on your behalf as well. And if you spend time trying to be mitaritz to answer the claims that people have against their words, sometimes a person writes a sefer and people say, what did Rashi mean? What did the Rambam mean? What did this one mean? What did that one mean? And you spend time working on answering the contradictions or the like that people have. That's also an amazing thing. It's very choshev, says the Pele Yoetz. You're defending them because they can no longer defend themselves. Take a look at the Sefer Magid Misharim, which speaks about the heavenly angel that came to learn and to speak to the Beis Yosef, the author of the Shulchan Aruch. Shigilu Maran Beis Yosef Zichron Livracha. He revealed to the Beis Yosef that Rambam Hayamelitz Va'adai B'Shamayim, that the Rambam was defending on his behalf in the heavens. Mimal al Shitarach Lefarish L'Taras Devar, because the Beis Yosef made it his occupation in this world to defend the words of the Rambam. In the Shulchan Aruch, whenever we say the Mechaber says, that means that the Beis Yosef says like the Rambam, and therefore all of the Sardim will hold like the Mechaber. They're holding like the Rambam because the Beis Yosef came to defend the words of the Rambam to show what his pshat, what his psach halacha was. Says the Magid Misharim, you should know that because that you are so preoccupied in defending the words of the Rambam, in Shemayim, the Rambam is defending you and speaking on your behalf. And at the time that the Beis Yosef passed away, the Rambam himself came to greet him in Shemayim. There's another sefer called Magini Shlomo, the guarding, the defenders of Shlomo. They were defending Shlomo, who was Rashi. Rashi's name was Shlomo, and he was defending the words of Rashi. Taisvais, who is many of them the grandchildren of Rashi, often ask on their grandfather questions, and they argue with Rashi. So in the Sefer Magini Shlomo, he was showing why Rashi is right and why the questions were not questions. So Zacha Shemeshas Petirasai, that author of that Sefer, he was Zeichi, merited that at the time that he passed away, but Rashi came to accompany him into the next world because of his great defense of Rashi in his life. It's so good if a person would learn the words of the Tanoim, the authors of the Mishnah, Amarayim in the Gemara, the earlier Rabbanim, and to answer their words. If people have questions on what it says in the Gemara, they have questions on the Rishonim, they have questions on the earlier Rabbanim. So based on things they said, try to answer them up. Because the merits of those great sages that no longer are in the world, if you defend them in this world when they cannot defend themselves, so their merits will break through barriers and carry you higher and higher and higher. It's good if you could learn all the different svarim. They're all good. A sefer that's written by a reliable Talmud Chacham, a reliable source, why not learn everything, the most that you possibly could? And there's even a greater obligation to the offspring, to the children and the grandchildren, the great-grandchildren and the descendants of the author of that particular sefer, in all generations to learn Lilmaid Sifrei Zakenim L'Tarz Devarav. Learn the words of their elders who are no longer in this world, and if anybody has a kasha, a question on something he said, try to answer it. It is fitting for the children and the descendants to have mercy on their parents and so on and so forth. And to give them delicacies. When you learn their words and you answer the questions that people have on them, you're like giving them treats and delights. And they in turn will have pity and mercy on you. And they will defend you for the good, just like a father has mercy and defends his children. And you'll see in the Sefer Chesed Avram, written by the Chidah, you'll see that he speaks about this. So too, if you're part of the congregation of that particular Talmid Chacham who wrote a Sefer, for example, which is common, the Chassam Sefer was from the congregation of Preshberg. So any Yid in the world that identifies with the congregation of Preshberg, so they're going to end up learning the works of the Chassam Sefer. He'll be a guide to them. Lilmoy Dvarav, you should learn his words. V'lachsas miroisav, even you should sing the songs. If he was famous for a certain niggin that he sang, sing the songs. The Chedayim is similarly whatever it is that he did. So we try to carry on that legacy. And therefore the merits of that Talmid Chacham will guard his descendants and his congregation as well. He will be hovering over them all day long, which means everybody wins over here. You learn the words of the deceased, their lips are moving in Shemaim, and it's a nachas ruach, it's a pleasure, spiritual delight for them that down here in this world they left something over that continues to be learned. And it's a schus for you, because when you learn and you defend and you keep giving life to them, they will end up watching over you. They will speak on your behalf, defend you in Shemayim. And even as we see in the story of the Al-Sheikh HaKodesh, that if a person is in such dire straits, you never know who's going to come to your defense. Maybe even one of the great sages that you defended stark in your life, they will reappear to be able to save a person from whatever's going on around them. So therefore, learn and defend and give life to them, and it will give life to you as well. All the best. Have a wonderful Shabbos.